Today, for our palette, we are using white, and we're working in oils. We have cadmium yellow light, cadmium orange, cadmium red light, cadmium red medium light, cadmium red medium deep, cobalt blue, viridian, phthalo green, phthalo blue, and alizarin crimson. And I'm using turpentine for my medium in order to clean my brushes and also as the thinner for my paint. Today we've got a little bit of a still life. I've gone ahead and used a simple drapery, just a rather mundane one. We've got a lemon, an apple, and just a very simple little crock pot here. And we're going to work on illustration board. This is Bainbridge board. And this illustration board is really quite wonderful. It's an oil on paper technique. It's something very unique. And this is a little piece that I had done in practice, which is utilizing the same piece of illustration board, which is a lightweight board. And I've used my oil on the board. And it actually looks almost like it's been done on a little piece of canvas. So I'm going to show you how to work with this today. And also, we're going to start with this, and we're going to work more creatively, more interpretively. Something that we can do in taking a very simple or mundane still life and adding more zing or zip to it. But let's start with what's here and take it from there and see what we can add. So join me now. I hope you will. Okay. All right. I'm not going to basically put in much background. I'm going to leave that as it will be, as the majority of it is a white. So I'm going to use just a little white with cobalt blue and perhaps a little cadmium orange and red light. And I'm using a very large brush. If you're a beginning artist, I wouldn't recommend using anything quite this large. And also being a little more careful, perhaps, to sketch what one is going to paint. Perhaps putting where your pot and so forth will be. I'm just going to make a general shape. And remember, when you're working on paper, once your lines are there, once your color is down, you can't remove it. And there's our lemon. So we basically have established what will be where. Now, we cannot remove these lines. This will stay because this is the character of the paper. It absorbs right into the surface and it won't go anywhere other than that. It just stays right there. You can't blend it or bleed it. Okay. Oh, let's see, we just add a little. And all I've done is to mask tape this piece down, which we can remove the masking tape a little bit later on. And so, a little turpentine. A lot of turpentine makes it, of course, run, which is rather unique because it gives it a totally different effect. And we don't worry about drips. You can add that into your piece. Again, we're trying to look for something different to do. Not the traditional way of working. Just let's take what's here and start with that way and carry it someplace else. Let's go a little further with it, see what we can do. So I'm just going to get this covered. Oh, and maybe even put a little of this down here and leave the rest of the paper just white. Okay. That gives me a little bit of a base. Now, let's see. Take a boar hair bristle brush and establish with a little cobalt blue and cadmium orange. Just so we can do that. A little more cobalt blue. This little pot. Notice I've gone right into the area of the pot. I go back and reestablish it. And of course it's broken, but we can always fix that in the way we paint it. You can always add the handle later, so don't worry about that now. I'm going to go a little wider brush and just begin to put that color on there. Just scumble the color in. And again, this is still very traditional, but we're going to have a little fun with this. We're going to start this way and see where we can go from here. A little more cobalt blue into the same color. Just pulling out some, and our apple, which will be here, into our shadow area, and our lemon, which also has a little shadow. Let's get some of that color under the lemon. A little yellow light and cadmium orange. Get some of the shadow area into this. Again, working light against shadow. And let's get our apple in there. We'll use a little Viridian and cobalt blue. And I'm always referring to the paints by the names on the tubes because this is what we refer to as palette talk. And this is how the artists refer to their colors. So if you're ever asking an artist what they're mixing, they'll tell you by the name on the tube of the color. Let's see, a little more. Again, we're working on paper, so we've got to use our paint in a rather transparent manner, not as heavily as we would on canvas. And if we go over, don't worry. We can try to clean some of it up and so forth. Let's see if we can get a little more yellow light into that. Lighten up the color of that apple. There we go, and just use the side of the brush to scumble or scrub the color together. Now, let's see, add a little bit more. Let's see, go in with a little more of a bristle brush. Add a little more cadmium orange to the green, to that cobalt blue and Viridian we've been using. To darken the apple's side. And also in the center. Highlights are something you worry about at the very end if you wish to do things more traditionally. We're just going to scrub or scumble. Just scrub and rub that color around by using the side of the brush. Very clean. Almost no medium in it. Try to make a hole. Make that center of that apple come forward. Adding a little more light. Now, same thing coming around. Get brighter and brighter, making that deeper. Wow. And don't worry if you ever do that and you get your brush that has too much color. You can always wipe it out. Again, this is strictly a learning process, a fun process to do. Okay, let's see, we put a little shadow or a little darker color underneath the apple. And just, again, we're on paper. We're working on paper, which is something quite different. Always go deeper to make this. Notice we can get that as deep as we like just by each time adding a little more of a dark color. And I always put a little of the complement into the color, which is a little red into that green, just to warm it up. The stem of the apple can always be added later on. Now, let's see. We need to go back to our lemon for a moment and just go ahead and establish that. Oh, and you're probably saying, well, geez, this is very traditional. Well, yes, it is, but we're going to change that in just a minute. We're going to go a little bit further in combining what you see, and of course, fingers are great. Wonderful for, especially on the paper surface, because you can smudge and smear your materials together. Put a little highlight on that. Lighten it up just a bit. There we go. The apple. Get him a little cobalt blue and white. Just drag a little color around. It's not quite as light as we would like. We can add that to it later. You can always lighten these things up. Let's get in with our picture and see what we can do here. Actually, put a little cobalt blue. Again, cobalt blue and cadmium orange are wonderful. Lighten this side up a little bit here. Have the two blend together. And you don't worry about your edges. We have a little broken edge here, but that goes with the picture. It shows it's been a loved piece. Something that's been in the family and everyone's enjoyed. Okay. A little more cadmium orange. Lighten up. And add to the piece. We don't worry about the little blue lines that you see on there. You can add that later, or you can totally eliminate it if you wanted to. Nothing says that it has to be there. If you're going to paint and you want to do something that you interpret in your own way, you can change what you see. That's the beauty of painting. And I'm going to put that in a little lighter than we see it. And just say, all right. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's put a little more orange in. Warm it up. This kind of gives us, again, the feel of the little piece that we started with. Had this heavy oil and had some of the lighter and darker colors, even though this is something that was done before. But we can go from this traditional stage to where we're going to go now. Now, we've just gotten this started. Now, oh, and you say to yourself, I've done this a million times. I've painted this so many times. I've done this over and over. What can I do to make things a little different? Make things exciting? Well, that's kind of nice. Why finish the handle? Let the viewer finish the handle. Tell you what, I found some things in the studio today that I thought would be rather interesting to add. I'll just put a little shadow here first. I found some blankets and things that had some wonderful patterns to them. And again, this is still very traditional. So I'm going to go over back to my still life table and show you some of what I found and toss them over the top. This is a wonderful old blanket that has such great pattern to it. Oh, let's see what we can do here. Oh, and you're going, oh, how am I ever going to paint this? Don't worry, there's more. There's another one. And it has, oh, some wonderfully woven patterns and pieces. Now, I'm going to look at these now. Well, just look at the wonderful color that's there. Gosh. Oh, let's see. I'm going to even take this and put a piece down here. And the idea is, all right, now that I've gotten this far and I want to try something different, Look at those wonderful patterns. You are the artist. You are the one who's the creator. If you like the red and the excitement of the red, then you can use that red. You can use those patterns. And you don't have to paint each and every little stroke as you see it. You can do an interpretation or take one segment from what you see and enlarge it and change it. You can also go ahead and make your lemon larger, smaller, brighter, duller. And that's the fun. Here's where the fun begins. Okay, let's see. I think we're going to take a little fan brush for a moment and indicate a little bit of color right over here. You go, uh-oh, what has she done? Well, again, this is just practice. If it doesn't work, okay, and we don't have to watch the exact pattern that's there. We can kind of interpret what we see, and I'd like to take a little of that red behind the lemon, even though it may not actually be there, and I'm going to put it there, which is nice because it made the lemon come out a little bit more. And just put this color up here. Now, find some gray, which of course is cobalt blue and cadmium orange. Oh, I can play with, you can do different shapes and patterns in here. You can suggest different things. We can go in with brighter colors. You don't have to sit there and say, oh, it was stitched in this, and this pattern. You can just squint back from a distance and say, gee, I'd like to do certain shapes or patterns of what's in that cloth. And the fun is, the more you do this, the more detail you can add if you really wanted to, or the simpler you can keep it. I can get a little darker back here. Again. And I'm using paper toweling today because I find it quite easy and comfortable to work with. See, I'm going to use a little more of our red medium light and just bring some of that color right up. Oh, I know it's not behind, but we're going to put this behind the light. Let's just take this color and see where it goes. Why not? Have you ever wanted to do this? And someone always said, well, gee, why? Answer them, why not? Blow this color back here. And begin trying to just kind of feel your way through what you're doing. Have a little fun with it. Maybe carry it across over here. It doesn't have to be a finished piece. And surely in the 30 minutes we're working, you can have a little more time and a little more leisure to do these on your own. The blanket off to the right has such wonderful dark patterns of color. Oh, we don't even have to make it go with the bowl, but we could just say, gee whiz, let's just take segments and put a little more turpentine in there and make little patterns here. Oh. And if the brush starts to go with it. Go where it flows, have a little fun with it. You can begin working a little pattern in with what you've done. Oh, you don't have to do that. You can just carry a little pattern in behind. You're looking for a new place to go. You're looking for something different to do, and this is the way to do it. You find different things that you may have around your house that you'd like to try. Maybe you'd like to take a segment of this pattern and carry it forward here. Maybe down into the foreground. And make our own pattern up, rather than trying to copy exactly what's there. Just the fact of the dark versus the light and letting the brushwork work for us can be rather exciting. Okay. Also, if we want to pick some of the color up, we can. You can just brush lightly over. And that will settle it down. It also blends together because, again, we are working on paper. And as we're doing this, we can also go back to our picture every once in a while. If we'd like to have a little bit of traditional with a little contemporary, we can just keep reworking these pieces till we get them to the desired effect. A little cobalt blue here. More cobalt blue with this. Let me pull some color up here. Now, if you don't like what you got down here, just subtle it down, tone it down, put a little wash of turp over it. Sometimes letting your colors run, or letting a little turpentine run for you, it can't hurt anything. All we have is a sheet of paper. We can dab it. We can change it. You can always clean up a particular area. You can always go back and add to it. Now, if we really had the time, this would be fun to go back and specifically pull out wonderful little areas and make patterns where you see little patterns. And you don't have to make the pattern exactly as you see it. You can interpret from what you see. Now, if it doesn't work, you don't worry about it, because we can always try something else. But gosh, these wonderful patterns can totally take over for us. Maybe we want to carry, rather than leaving that drapery the way it is, maybe we would like to carry this particular piece, let's give it an edge even, or just a linear quality, and carry it all the way over here. And let this add to what we're doing. Again, this is strictly a piece for practice, for a way to help stimulate a little bit of creativity. If you like the linear quality, of the dark or the red. Perhaps you like the red. You might just want to play with the red. And just let the brush go. Just pattern it any which way you'd like. There's nothing says that this must be a finished piece of work. This is an exciting thing to do because it stimulates your creativity and just makes you feel kind of excited inside. Don't ever worry about someone saying, well, what's it supposed to be? Is it finished? It'll be finished when you finish it, and not to worry. You can do so many things, and just remember, again, we're working with a new material. You're trying to work canvas versus paper, and this is your paper surface. We can go in with actually very vivid color as well. We can go in and do the same thing to our fruits. If we want to pick up on the reds, we can put red into the green. Why not? Warm it up. Or put a little bit of that red into the lemon to pick up on what we're doing in the background. Or we can take a good firm bristle brush and spatter on it and just really have a great time. But I mean, all of this is something that, why not try it? You don't have to explain to anyone. It's just something that comes from within. So I hope this has helped you a little bit, and you'll join us again. Thank you.